What is happening? Steeler Nation, Steeler family. What's good? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, presented to you by the Steel Basement. What's happening, man? Let's get right into it. We're going to say hello to the early commenters. I have a couple, thoughts, a couple things to talk about. Open it up to phone calls. And then we're out of here. First thing we're going to do, boom, cut the timer on. Got to stay within my time or less. But what's happening, man? I hope everybody is good. I know you guys are feeling away after the loss. You guys saw my makeshift post-game show. I was traveling. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well once Miss Debbie gets on, because I definitely want her to hear what I have to say. Yeah, let's get to it. And first of all, I'm going to give a prayer and prayers up, to my people in Florida. You guys know I just came from Tampa. Hurricane is coming their way. So I know Lanisha is in Florida. I'm not sure exactly where you are, Lanisha, but prayers to you and your family. Prayers to everyone who's going through it. Prayers to my wife's father, that side of my family, because that is my family as well. I don't really believe in the in-law stuff. That's family. Just hope everybody's well. I hope everyone gets through it. I hope everyone's place of living, man, is not affected. So be safe out there. But all right, let's get to it, man. Let's say what's up to the early commenters, and then we jumping right in. Marquise Carter, he says, 412, born and raised. Shout outs to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you coming by. I always give a shout out to those who are from Pittsburgh. You guys are the truth. I'm not from Pittsburgh. I'm originally from Virginia. I live in Pennsylvania. Have been here for quite a long time. But yeah, shout outs to the Pittsburgh folks and surrounding areas. Laura Manco, Ron Simpson Gaming. What's up, Ron? My man Brent Fox, Dietrich Bundick, Builder's Life, Patrick Lodge. Hello, Miss Lanisha. I knew you were in here. Hopefully you heard what I had to say. Please be well. Please be safe. But hello, Lanisha. Everyone, make sure you give your warm welcome to Lanisha, as she's always here, man. One of the lovely ladies of the chat. Good brother Y Diggy in the building. Vista Light. Who else we got up in here? Joshua Shields, Lee Sharp, Stillmatic, Christopher West, Cutboy 412, Father-in-law Leonard, Christopher. I said Christopher already. Stealer Cards. Who else we got? Stone and Confused the News. Daredevil. Bettsburg, Jack Bauer, Lyle McCombs, Freddie Gus, and Ali Howard. We'll end it right about there. All 22 footage will be coming you guys' way. I'm shooting for tomorrow. I tried to get it done today. Just didn't have the opportunity to lock in and get it done. But again, for you guys who are members of the channel, you will see that footage tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed last week's footage in terms of the Patriots game. Let's get into it, man. Listen, first thing we're going to talk about, let me go through my notations here. I put it in the description, and sometimes, it kind of go off the path a little bit, but generally I want to talk about, a few light reflections from the loss from the Browns. Preparing for the Jets, I'll keep that brief as well. Thoughts from Mike Tomlin today, wasn't a whole lot to take from. There was a couple things in there. And then also, when will Kenny Pickett play? That is the premier topic, the lead topic. You guys know, again, for you guys who are new to the channel, you can always tell where I may be going in terms of lead topic by my thumbnail as well as the title. The question in the title is Mike Tomlin being stubborn, not playing Kenny Pickett? And I already know. Before we even get into it, I already know there's going to be some wild comments in regards to that. So if you guys want to chop it up in the chat now, feel free. But, I would say if you want to, reserve it until I get to that so I can look over and see some of the comments. That should be an interesting one. I don't know why I keep coughing. Let me have some water here. Wow, Kenyon said 103 out in LA. That is crazy. Speaking of Kenyon, and my good brother Tony, I've been behind as well on that, that House of Dragons. I will watch that tonight after this show. So I'm going to get right to it right after this show. So we'll be able to chop it up about the latest episode. Debbie's here. Hello, Miss Debbie. Got to say hello to Miss Debbie. Everyone say hello to another lovely lady of the chat. And I'm actually going to say something really quick. I was waiting for Debbie to get on. I already replied to her, but I wanted to say it here in front of you guys as well, man, because we're all family. I got to give Debbie a shout out, man. Debbie kind of pulled me to the side, pulled my coattail, if you will, a light check. She basically told me, hey, you didn't really have to do that post-game show in that situation, traveling with family. Family's more important, kind of just being that, I would say a real one, if you will, kind of saying, yo, we appreciate everything, but hey, at that moment, you don't have to, wear yourself thin to do a video or, try to cram and make that important. And she's right. So I definitely want to acknowledge that. You guys saw it, if you did, I'm on the escalator, I'm in the airport. But Debbie's right. Sometimes I just have to be upfront with you guys and say, hey, I'm not going to make the show. And, even though it was in a situation waiting on a rental car and all of that, I had the opportunity, but that shouldn't have been so important. And again, it didn't affect anything as far as my wife and my kid and my nephew, but the root of what Debbie was trying to say shouldn't even have been that important. You guys appreciate the show, but y'all understand when life happens. So definitely just wanted to say that, man. Debbie, keeping it a buck. Really appreciate that, putting that jersey on it. So thank you for that, Debbie. You're right. Let's get into it, shall we? What are we going to discuss? Let's see. What's the first thing I want to talk about? Couple thoughts from Mike Tomlin. Let's get into that first. Ali said he objects. We need 2-hour shows. Yeah, man. It's just a different format there, but all right, I understand what you guys are saying. Let's get into it. First of all, injuries. Couple injuries to talk about, man, from Mike Tomlin's press conference. We already kind of knew about Ahkello Witherspoon. He had a hamstring injury in that game. I'm going to talk about him a bit as I reflect on the Browns game. But he's dealing with the hamstring. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I did not know this because I didn't watch any of the post-game footage or, post-game comments or conference or anything like that. Minkah is in the concussion protocol. So, for you guys and gals that didn't know that, Minkah Fitzpatrick is in the concussion protocol. I would hope that it's, the standard. And when I say standard, a lot of times the concussions are not so severe. We played on Thursday night. That gives him a little extra time until this coming Sunday. So hopefully Minkah will be okay. It's all about his health first and foremost. But hopefully it's not too severe. Hopefully he gets through the protocol. And hopefully he's suiting up against the Jets. We'll definitely got to keep an eye on that. Kevin Dotson has an ankle injury. Tomlin kind of, linked him and Witherspoon together, saying those guys will kind of be day-to-day. You know what he always says, participation will be the guide to see how they will participate. He did say it would limit them a little bit in terms of being able to practice. And then the last one, Presley Harvin. I didn't know this as well. He has some type of hip inflammation. I did see reported today that the Steelers could very well sign Jordan Berry back. And I was like, wow, okay, didn't know it was that significant. And hold on, give me a second, guys. Let me respond to my wife really quick. She's actually still out of town. She had to go to Massachusetts right after we landed back from Florida. A couple days for her job. She'll be back in the morning. But let me at least put family first, give her the courtesy to let her know the show has started, and I will hit her back. 1 second. She's probably watching. All right. Like Debbie said, family first, right? All right. The only other injury, like I said, just wrap that up as far as Presley Harvin. Yeah, and it'd be interesting if Jordan Berry does find his way back. I tell you, would be very interesting. You see, Corliss Waitman already has a job, so that option wouldn't be on the table. But we'll see. We'll see. Tomlin mentioned, he didn't really allude to the fact. You know what I mean? He didn't really allude to the fact that he would be out unless some more information came out today. But we'll see. We'll see. Next thing on the list. I did not know this as well until it was said today by Mike Tomlin. Did you guys realize that Alex Highsmith is leading the NFL in sacks? That is quite interesting. And you know what? Y'all know what we do in real time. Let's take a look and see exactly how many he has. I want to say he's around, 4? Let's take a look. Let's take a look real quick. And excuse if you hear any noise. I'm pulling up NFL Network. There may be something on their pages, as far as the browser that will be played here. Give me a second if I can find it. Alex Highsmith, 4.5. 4.5 sacks right now. He is currently ahead of Nick Bosa, who's only a half sack away, as well as Jerry Hughes, Khalil Mack, Michael Parsons, Dietrich Wise. All of those guys have 4. Greg Rousseau has 3.5 as well, and a few other guys, rounding up the end. Quite a few guys have 3. But yeah, that's pretty interesting, man, that Alex Highsmith, quietly is off to a great start. He's off to a great start quietly. I don't think many people, really paid attention to that because, we haven't won our last 2 games. But want to acknowledge that. That is excellent. That is very excellent by Alex Highsmith. So wholeheartedly appreciate that. Round of applause to my good brother, Y Diggy. And actually, I'm going to say something to you guys about the donation that y'all might get a kick out of after I read his. So thank you, Y Diggy, for the donation. Round of applause, brother. This is interesting. Y Diggy says, I'm conflicted on how I should feel about the team. I'm still not a fan of number 10. And for you guys who are new, when a person hasn't really done much or is not doing much, Kenyon kind of started this. We call them by their number as opposed to their name. So that's why Diggy is saying number 10. Of course, he knows who number 10 is. He says, still not a fan of number 10, and I think the OC's, not saying his name either, the OC's offense is predictable. But looking at the rest of the league, we may not be as bad off as it looks. That is a great point as well, man. Just look at teams like Kansas City. There's no such thing as moral victories, right? But at the same time, you have to just kind of pay attention to what's going on around you. And, maybe this team can get it together down the stretch or as we get into the midpoint of the season. Who knows? But I think Y Diggy makes valid points. And I'm going to talk a little bit about number 10 as well. I'll still call him Mitch for now. But yeah, he's definitely leaning close to that number 10. So yeah, appreciate that. Speaking of the donations, I gotta say this real quick, man, because I didn't get a chance to say this the last time I was on. I can't even remember who the dude's name. It was McQueen, I think, Snoop McQueen. And usually I don't do that, but I'm gonna do that in this instance because if he shows back up, I want you guys to make sure you remind him of this. A couple shows ago, he sent me a message on one of the videos saying that I only read donations from people who are not pushing back. So basically, if anyone is pushing back on me in a donation, I don't read it. And the funny thing is, I politely told him, like, dude, what sense does that make? Why would I do that when it literally pops up on screen? Right? Also, I don't always have headphones on. And I actually think it was that show, remember why I didn't have my headphones? And if I'm not looking right over here, I don't even see the donation. So I kindly told him, if you really feel like that, because he threatened to leave and never come back. I said, you know what, fam? If you really feel like that, I'd rather you just leave. So I just want to say that to say, guys, if I don't see your donation, please believe I am not ignoring it. I don't care if you cursed me out. If you gave me a donation, I will say thank you. But to think that I would be that much of a sucker to avoid reading or giving someone thanks because they disagree with what I'm saying, that's just crazy. I've told you guys so many times, that's not the environment I'm trying to create here. I'm trying to create an environment where we can all agree or disagree or agree to disagree and keep it very family oriented. You don't have to get so heated with one another. You don't have to cuss somebody out. You don't have to think you're right all the time. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I politely told him he can go ahead and be on his way. So if y'all see that name pop up, let's make sure we remind him. But anyway, yeah, Diggy, I'm with you on that. I'm with you all the way. All the way. Let's see. What else do I got, man? I might be getting close to the meat of my topics here. Not a whole lot to get into. Here's an interesting thing that Mike Tomlin said as well. Tyson Alualu is being replaced by Montravius Adams. Really quick, I'm going to look over in the chat. What do you guys think about that? That is interesting. I haven't gone through the entire all 22. I haven't gotten to the third quarter yet, but I'm going to pay attention because Mike Tomlin is saying that Adams is playing better than Alualu. So he deserves a shot. Very interesting. I'm not going to say I disagree because honestly, I can't say that I know that right now. But how do you guys feel about that? And did y'all hear that? But yes, he is saying that he is going to start Montravius Adams over Tyson Alualu. Now, we all know Tyson Alualu is an older gentleman anyway in terms of football position he plays, so he probably was on his last leg anyway. But what do you guys think? Let's see. What are you guys saying? Lee Sharp says Tyson is done. Joshua Shields says I kind of like it. Maurice Ware says the offensive line looks better now. Yes, they do. Don't let me forget that, Maurice. I'm going to talk about that. Stillmatic says Adams been stout. Okay. Steel Card says Alualu is washed up. Kev So Fun says injuries have caught up to him. C. Antoine Hill says good move. Okay. So you guys don't disagree with that. Okay. Adams is looking strong. Okay. All right. Just was curious to know how you guys felt about it, man, because sometimes people totally disagree with the coach's decision. So, yeah, maybe that's not the decision that some of you guys are looking for. It's not a quarterback change, but, I'm cool with them recognizing things that need to be changed and doing it quickly. We're going into week 4, right? We're not waiting until week 8. I appreciate that. But like I said, after I, take a nice look at the run defense in this game, I've gotten through the first half. As far as all 22, I've rewatched the game, obviously. And it's funny, I told Kenyon I rewatched the game while I was at Disney. Yeah, believe it or not, we were in the line for Rise of Resistance. And I watched the condensed version, from NFL Plus, was just the plays. It was 41 minutes. We were in the line longer than that. And my wife could tell you, I'm sitting there watching it, and then I watched it again. So I definitely was able to see, what transpired in the game. But as far as all 22, I've only gotten through the first half. But yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. Not at all. Let's see, what else do I got before I get into my reflections of the game? I think that's about it. So let's do that. Let's get right to the reflections of the game, man. Listen, Maurice Ware said it earlier. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and maybe some of y'all are not paying attention to it. The offensive line, honestly, right now, not the problem. At least from the last outing. Offensive line hasn't been that big a deal. Hasn't been as bad as I thought. Here already at week 3, in the last game, the offensive line played relatively well. Now, there is a play that I'm going to talk about here early in the game that James Daniels, I don't know what was happening, but, I'll talk about it here in a moment. But overall, I told you guys this after week 2, all right? Not even Thursday. After week 2, I said, pass protection has been all right. Seems like the only thing the offensive line isn't doing, they weren't run blocking that well. Well, there were moments in this game where the run blocking was decent as well. There were moments. There was some, if you remember, guys, and really be objective about it, there was some nice moments in this game, particularly in the first half. Let's not forget the Steelers were up 14-13. And not to mention, I might go out on a limb and say this. Matt Canada called a pretty good game on Thursday, from what I saw, from my view. Matt Canada called a pretty good game. I don't know how many of you guys agree with that. But again, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing with each other. You guys watch me to hear my opinion. So I'm just going to offer you my opinion. Not going to get into any debates or anything like that. The way I'm going to treat this show and you guys in the chat, you all are welcome to speak your own mind and your own opinion from what you saw. And that's how I will leave it. I won't debate you. Because it's all opinions. Unless it's something that's really factual, then that's different. But in my opinion, Matt Canada did not call a bad game. Now, am I going to sit here and say that he was great? I can't quantify that. I'm waiting to see Alex Kazor and Steeler Depot's report to see if he's still following that trend. Now, if that stuff is happening as far as him calling the wrong plays against the wrong personnel and being repetitive with it, okay. Now, that's a problem. I have not seen that yet, so some of you guys may be able to provide that. But, excuse me, on the surface, from me watching the game twice, maybe more will be revealed to me as I watch the All-22, but as I've watched the game twice, I did not feel like Matt Canada called a horrible game. There may have been some times here and there where you felt like it was predictable. I get that. But I don't think the plan was horrible. Getting the pocket, and Trubisky on the move, keeping the pocket moving. I don't think it was horrible. Calling a shovel pass to the running back. Even though I'm not so big on the shovel, I'm going to talk about that as well. But I don't think it was horrible. Now, in the second half, it did seem like we were a bit stagnant. And that's why I'm saying I need to really digest what was happening. Look at the looks that the Browns was giving us and see what type of plays we were calling. So like I said, the next time I talk to you, I might have a different opinion. But just looking at it from the game, TV tape, it didn't feel like it was a horrible game by Canada and or Mitch Trubisky, particularly in the first half. Second half, what happened? Offense had a lot of 3 and outs again. Like I said, I don't know if it's all Canada or all Trubisky. I would say it's a combination of both. Once I get through the second half of the 22, I will be able to tell you. Funny thing is, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've seen all of these different media outlets, even Hines Ward weighing in. I've seen people saying it's not Trubisky's fault, all the way to it's not Canada's fault, all the way then back to it's somewhere in the middle. And I'm like, clearly everyone is seeing this differently. I will stick to this, and I will still continue to say as far as Trubisky, I do still feel like he locks in on where he's going to go. And I do feel like he doesn't always push the ball down the field, particularly in the middle of the field. And I still think that is where Kenny Pickett is probably going to be better suited, right? And that's where I'm conflicted. Because I don't think Trubisky has been horrible. Some of you guys will disagree. I don't think he's been horrible. But I think what he has been is inconsistent. Because he's made some great throws, good decisions, and then the inconsistent throws come in there. Then he locks in on a target too much. And he doesn't look elsewhere. All of that stuff reveals itself in the All-22. And I still think, me personally, it comes down to when are they going to play Kenny. I think Kenny is going to give you more than that. What did I say last week? The biggest thing where Kenny Pickett to me could be better than Trubisky today is anticipation. Throwing with anticipation. That is where Mitch has not been good. But I can honestly say Mitch Trubisky hasn't been terrible. He just hasn't been consistent. But some of you would say it's been terrible because he's focused in on one target for the most of the time, or it's like he's predetermined. So again, it's not about me disagreeing. I think we all can agree maybe we would like to see Kenny play. And you know another reason why I'm cool with Kenny playing? The offensive line is protecting. Round of applause to see Antoine Hill, man. Got a donation. He says, I'm not going to give up on Canada yet. It's still early, and I'll take time for the offense to click. Okay, that's fair. But here's what I did notice watching the game. And again, I focused on first half. What I definitely noticed in the second half, it didn't seem like we ran the ball as much. And also, and here's the question I still got for Canada. Y'all want me to get on Matt Canada for something? I said this last week, did I not? After the Patriots game. Why do we stop running no huddle or up tempo? Why? Why do we back off of that? That's a question I have for the entire offensive staff. Is Tomlin a part of that? I don't know. So let me just say that's an all-inclusive. For everyone who has anything to do with the no huddle being ran or not, my question is, why do we stop doing it? Seem to be working. We've seen it effective in both games now. Why did we not go? It's confusing. Let me see what some of you guys had to say, man, about Canada. Then I'll move on. Y'all talk about the second half. Yeah, the second half was a bit more rough. But like I said, the only reason why I'm saying as of now it didn't seem so bad, because for any of you guys who watch film, you understand. The all-22 is going to be a little more revealing, because then I can really see what's happening and see what type of plays we're running against the certain personnel packages that the Browns may have put out of there. Like a lot of that, you can see it at a glance from the TV tape. But, I mean, clearly I can say the first half and second half seem to be night and day. But that's why I say that I don't felt like the game as a whole was bad. First half, I think Canada and Trubisky were okay. It definitely trailed off in the second half. The 3 and outs, the drop by Deontay. You see what I'm saying, guys? Is why I can't, until I see the film. This is the only reason why I can say off the cuff, it doesn't feel like it was so bad. I will be able to tell you that when you hear from me again. I promise. When you hear from me again, I will reflect back to that second half. Even if I got to make a second, an additional video talking about it. And again, you guys, all 22 people who will be able to view it, y'all are going to hear me talk about that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't understand what's happening with the no huddle and lack thereof. And it was just a couple moments, man. Like, again, Deontay, you cannot drop that. And that's why I say Mitch has been so up and down. But that pass right in the basket with the DB running alongside him. And this is why I say, guys, that he hasn't been horrible. He's just been inconsistent. He'll make a throw like that, and then there's other times when the throw is horrible. And I know everybody, y'all saw the clip of George Pickens going off and being pissed off because he was wide open. But again, Mitch seems to lock in, man. And it's, I would like to see Kenny Pickett get his hands on the ball sooner than later. And again, the question is, do I feel like Tomlin is being stubborn? I'll just answer this really quick, man, and then I'll get to the calls. I don't know. I would say no, because I trust that these guys know what they're doing. And I will say I don't know the reason why they're not ready to put him out there. I'll just say that. It may be some other underlining reason. Some people are going to say, again, I know the comments are going to be wild. Some people feel like Mike Tomlin is inept. He's stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. I totally disagree with that. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answer to it. But again, I'm going to trust that it's not a being stubborn thing. I'm going to trust that it's a football thing, whether that means all of the above, controlling the offense. And I don't know. I'm not, and I guess that's my answers. I'm not going to speculate. I'm sure a lot of you guys will. I'm not going to speculate on something that I don't know. What I will say is I don't believe that any of the coaches in that building and or ownership is willing to not put their best foot forward if they could. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I don't believe that it's a purposefully, we're just going to hold them back on purpose. No, it has to be a reason for it, man. It has to be. So I'll just leave it at that. But I will say, I like to see Kenny Pickett in there now. Now that the offensive line is seemingly protecting, I would like to see Kenny get a shot. And it's as simple as that. Somebody said Haley over Tomlin. Like I told y'all, man, I'm not even going to debate opinions no more. It's pointless. Carmichael the Guru, appreciate the donation. Round of the applause. He says the players know what it is. They don't have faith in Mitch. Look at their body language. That is a fact. Again, I won't speculate on how they feel about him, but I can definitely say that George Pickens reaction, it's hard not to pay attention to that. He says, but Mitch does have a 6-game incentive in his contract. See, and again, because I don't know the reason why Pickett isn't playing. Excuse me. I'm just gonna not speculate. You guys can have at it. I'm just not going to because I don't have any way of confirming my speculation. So all in all, I don't think Mike is being, I don't think he's being stubborn. I just think there's a reason, man. It has to be a reason. See what you guys are saying real quick, and then we'll open up the phones. Marcus Jones says Mike knows what he's doing. He's saving his investment, and to say let Thoroughbred out, then we'll come out the stall. Okay. Debbie says, boo that man who made that comment. Yeah, man, like I said, I'll just let opinions be opinions, man. Patrick Harvey, round of applause. Appreciate the donation. Patrick Harvey says he's doing the point up, and the comment right above here says fire Tomlin. So I guess that's what you're saying. Okay. Appreciate the donation. Like I said, I have nothing to say when it comes to everyone's opinions about the coaching staff. And I see one person in here says, look, Tomlin is being smart. And then Mark Malone comes back and says Tomlin is incapable of being smart. Like I said, y'all ain't going to get it out of me no more. I'll let y'all debate that. But all right, man, let's get to the phone calls, man. And you guys know the routine, man. Keep it short. You see how much time we have remaining. Give me your opinions, your thoughts, in and out. All right? If you guys can do that, I will be very short and brief with my responses as well. Area code. First up, we got area code 951. What you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. This is Betsy Kelly. So just 2 quick points and I'll hang up. The first one is I see a lot of people commentating on Matt Canada, right? And when you watch the film, the All-22, there's only so much a corner they can do. If the receivers are screaming wide open and or there's favorable one-on-one matchups and the quarterback doesn't have the vision to get him the ball, I don't know how Matt Canada could take a lot of the heat that he's been taking. I know he's not without error, but that's just the first point. The second point is, did you guys notice, for you and Steelers fans out there that are watching and listening, even in preseason. I know preseason is preseason, so let's take that for what it is. But when Kenny Pickett came in, I know the fans went crazy. We expect that. But did you guys not see the receivers, Deontay, Chase, when he ran with the first team? I may have been against the Jags or before that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. When he ran with the first team, man, the receivers looked like they had some life. They were joyful. They were jumping up. They were hyped. If that's not a clear sign that, I guess, we can't tell Tomlin what to do, obviously. But it does seem from the film that if Kenny Pickett at the least has the vision to hit these receivers when they're open or throw the ball up when they're in the favorable one-on-one matchups, not only will that improve the scoreboard, but that will also help out the defense. I get it, the run defense is struggling right now, but of course it's going to struggle when you're getting 3 and outs nonstop. That's all I got. Thanks, man.
Man, no problem at all. Appreciate the call. I'm gonna give you guys an expectation really quick. We got 6 more calls in the queue. We're gonna have to be quick, but let me reply to what you said. That's the reason why you gotta watch the film, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to, because there are things that you can blame Matt Canada for. There's things that you can blame Trubisky for. And that's why I just keep my opinion very tight until I fully watch the film. That's why I say, man, I wish I could get the film as fast as some of these outlets, but I always have to wait the full 48 hours. And yeah, there's times where the receivers are open. There's a play I wanted to talk about really quick, and then I'll move on. The 3rd and 8 from the Browns 36. It was right before Boswell missed the field goal. Claypool had 2 steps on his defender down the seam. Looks like the Browns was playing a cover 1, had a single high safety. The safety turned his back to Claypool when he's going to play Deontay. Remember, Trubisky threw it to Deontay, and it was underthrown. But Trubisky had pressure in his face. For whatever reason, Cleveland was kind of mugging the gaps at number 5. I don't know who it is, but Daniels kind of just let him go right past him. And Trubisky rolls to his right, pressure in his face. He throws it deep, chucks it to Deontay, and it's short. Because remember, Deontay tries to come back and play through the defender. There was no call there. But if he had time to stand in the pocket, and if he would have just, if he would have read the safety, Claypool was money. Make a better throw. Also, even on that, you make a better throw, Deontay catches that. But again, so many things happened on that play. The pressure influenced it, forced Trubisky to roll this way and look this way only. So it's things like that you see on film, man, that you go back and say, all right, was this a bad play call? Was this poor execution? Yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, man, it did seem like the offense had a little bit of life when Pickett came in, but we'll have to wait and see. Man, 8 calls remaining in the queue, guys. Let's be quick. In and out. That includes myself. Area code 803, Mr. Winningham, I believe. What you got for us?
Hey. Good evening, everybody. I'm thinking I'm disappointed. I mean, you can't let Matt Canada off the hook because he basically, when we really needed to get some defensive players, we gave him the offense for us to draft. Now, we did go defense with free agency. But I swear sometimes if I didn't know any better, I thought Big Ben was still out there on the field. I was disappointed. I mean, you wait until the 4th quarter when the Browns are in a soft defense before we can hit either tight end, especially with Prime. The targets that we have, the size of the targets, and we're not getting the ball to them. Only the one thing I blame Mitch Trubisky about is that he has a bad habit. He has tunnel vision. I mean, he throws to Deontay Johnson. We know on TV, watching TV, I can tell I'm looking at Deontay Johnson. I'm not looking at the field. So I think we need to do a whole lot better. I did not think we were going to be in this position this time this year compared to all the things we had to deal with Big Ben's physical limitations last year. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week.
Mr. Winningham, definitely appreciate your call, man. And yeah, I will say this. you can see that Matt Canada is getting the pocket and stuff on the move way more than he did with Ben. Play action way more, boots way more. But like you said, man, one of the key things is, you can't put it all on Trubisky or Canada, but one thing you can say about Trubisky, he has tunnel vision, and that's a problem. And that's where I think maybe Kenny is better. I would encourage you guys to kind of read Brett Fox's most recent comment. I agree with that as well. He says he will die on the hill. You can't just throw a rookie in through rough stretch of games. I know some people will say, what do you have to lose? But I will basically say, think about his comment, and maybe that's what the coaching staff is. You know what I mean? If you believe in this team, I don't care if you like Coach Tomlin or Canada, whoever, but can you at least have some faith that these people know what they're doing? I don't think that Kenny Pickett is not playing just because he's not playing. There has to be a reason why that is unbeknownst to us. And I'll just leave it at that. Area code 651, what you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sam?
What's going on?
Not much, man. I'll try to get this out quick. But watching Trubisky run his offense, it's like you ever see somebody make Kool-Aid, right? And then they put the sugar in, the Kool-Aid in, but they don't stir it. And you drink it, you're like, it's supposed to taste a little better than this. And then this week, it looked like he stirred it one time. Like, okay. It seems like this could be good, but I need to open up a little more. Like, he's not opening up the offense, man. I saw a lot more movement on third and short, which I'm glad to see that from Canada. I saw a little more movement on there, and you can see the difference in the game plan. So that was nice. But I really want to start Pickett, but do you want to start him against the Bills? In one way, I feel like, well, maybe you bring him out. No, not this game, but I mean the next game after the Jets game, because we know that's sold up. But the Bills game, they're missing one of their safeties. We're going to have to put up points. Mm-hmm. Do you bring them in then? Or, what I think, give Mitch halftime. If it's not looking good, all right, Pickett, show me what you can do in pressure time. Show me what you can do this half and see can you win the game, win the starting role next week against a tough defense. So I think that might be the best go route for us. So and also two more last things. Kenny Pickett got that cold-blooded look in his face, just like Hurts.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Like they're not nervous. They don't care. Put me out here. Let me do it. And I feel like in these moments, that's when you need to put him in. Let him try himself out. So that's all I got, man.
Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the time as well. We got to keep it moving, but I agree with a lot with what my man just said there. You got to decide, do you put him in with some of these games? He's still a rookie. However, I will agree, he has that non-fear factor, a look to him, right? But then I also will say, and this is not directed to 651, but I saw it in the chat. Great question. Somebody said, so what happens if Pickett struggles? Then what do you say? And honestly, I don't forget. I told y'all I have a photographic memory. Boy, if that were to happen, I'm gonna come to that next couple games show and be like this. Because I want to see what you would say there. I'm cool when people stick to what they believe in. The flip-flopping is what I don't rock with. So I love the people who stick to their guns, like those who just say, I don't like him, I don't like him, I don't like him, I love him, and they don't waver. I can rock with that. We shall see. Hopefully we don't have to see that, but if we do, we shall see. Real quick round of applause for the donation, and then we'll get back to the calls. And we got 6 more calls to go. Lee Sharp, appreciate it, man. Thank you. He says, taking family to their first game Sunday versus the Jets. Hope we get a dub, of course. My son is 11. Any suggestions for family fun before the game? Be there Friday afternoon. Woo. Honestly, it's a shame that I can't give you any ideas, but not a whole lot of family fun that I have experienced there. Every time I've gone, I actually haven't taken my son yet. I plan to take him this year if I go to a game. He's 9. He turned 9 on Saturday. I usually have gone with grown-ups. There's plenty of, grown-up stuff to do, whether you want to go to a bar or just hang out, but I can't speak on the family fund. Hopefully some of our, Pittsburgh natives will be able to give you that information, but you're going to enjoy it, man. You're going to have a whole different appreciation seeing it in person. And as a fan, being able to go to the stadium. You'll see what I'm saying. I'm sure you'll come back and tell us about it. Let's move on, man. Next up is we have 2 4-4-3s in the queue. So this is the first 4-4-3. What you got for us?
Yo, am I on something?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure this was the 4-4-3 you was talking about. What's good? So I called in last week, man. I was the one that broke down the Matt Canada play calling against the Patriots, and I sent it to you.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't tell you how I was going to send it to you. I sent it to you in an email because I don't have a Twitter or any of those accounts. I always send you emails, and I know it's hard for you to get them, but I just wanted to remind you that I did send you that. Real quick, the offense in general, man, is the blame. It ain't just Mitch. It ain't just Canada. Actually, the offensive line is doing pretty good if you really go back and pay attention. And like I said, I looked at another one of Alex Kazor's videos where he showed the offensive line doing very well against the Browns. But the whole offense in general is a problem. Mm-hmm. Mitch, Harris, the running back, he's missing holes, and not just the hole you talked about last week. He missed crazy holes against the Browns as well. His vision ain't looking really good right now. And you got 2 receivers in Claypool and Johnson in a huddle talking about what plays should be ran and what should be happening instead of focusing on the plays and the game plan that Canada put in place. And how do I know that? Because Mr. Trubisky said it. So the whole offense is in shambles, man. And until they come together as one, everybody going to be in trouble. And I appreciate you taking the call, man. Have a good night.
Man, appreciate this call, man. Very, very, very insightful. And I hope you guys paid attention to what he said. Just the gist of what he said, there's a lot going on. And this is why I say you can't just blame Canada, Mitch, because yes, Najee missed holes last week. And they're saying he missed some against the Browns. I will be paying attention to that as I go through the film. See, that's all I'm saying, man. I'm not telling people how to feel. I'm just saying when you start being able to see stuff, man, things start to make sense. And like you said, if guys are in the huddle talking about plays that should be called, that is not a good sign at all. What's the relationship between them and the coordinator? Ugly. Area code 864, what you got for us?
Hey, Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? Appreciate everything you do, bro. I'm gonna be very brief here. Mitch Trubisky is what you see is what you're gonna get from him. You're not gonna get a whole lot. He's just like a child, really. You got to make everything very simple for him. Mainly get him out the pocket, and he probably can make some plays out the pocket. Keep him in the pocket, you ain't got nothing. On Deontay, everybody getting on him about dropping that ball. If you look at it real close, it was pass interference. The guy grabbed his left arm just before the ball got there. And it was pass interference actually what it was. If it's the one everybody's talking about. I just feel like we not gonna let Pickett in there until we know the O-line is gonna be up to snuff. And the O-line for the last 3 weeks has been coming on pretty good. Mm-hmm. If Trubisky don't do too good in this game here, I would say the next game, I don't care, I would say Pickett will get called up. This guy's ready. Pickett is ready. He's ready. But that's all I got to say, man. Peace.
Man, peace to you. Thanks for calling. Thanks for the kind words there. I really, really appreciate that. Just because we got to be brief, I'm going to just hang on one thing that you said, and I think it should be obvious to most. The offensive line is coming around, man. I said it after the Patriots game. They're not as bad as we all thought they were going to be. Remember when we were saying how trash they were? They coming along. Now, is a couple guys going to have a couple issues here and there? Of course. It's the NFL. You're not going to win every battle, but they have not really been the problem. Let me see what the second half looked like, though. But with the film. But for the most part, I'm not seeing that they're the issue. Yeah, man, Trubisky is what he is, and again, if you go back to what a lot of us was saying, I know I'll speak for myself. I said Trubisky can play well enough to run the offense, this particular offense. He's shown signs that he can do it. He's just not consistent. So it's not a matter anymore about if Trubisky's the guy. We all know he's not. Now it just comes down to when are they going to play Kenny Pickett? That's really it. That's just really what it is. Can we win a couple games with Mitch? Sure we can. And, we'll see. We'll see. All right, we got 5 calls remaining. Let's keep them going, guys, and keep them quick. Area code 313, what you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Sim?
What's going on?
Not much. This is going to be real quick. Only thing this is a question to you, and I know Kenyon listening, and this is Daryl Dukes in Detroit. What I'm asking is, when you looked at the Patriots game and you looked at the Browns game, if you see the whole tournament, the difference is they play like the old Steelers. We're not playing old Steelers football. You got Najee Harris, first-round pick. Jalen Warren looks good. They need to commit to pounding and running the ball. They did it in the first half against Cleveland, and then they stopped. The preseason, the opening game, we had McFarland running like crazy. There was running the ball. They need an identity to commit to the running game. This will take the pressure off Mitch Trubisky and even to open up the receivers a little bit more and to open up the field. That's what they did to us. They look like us of the past. They ran the ball. They kept running Nick Chubb. Because remember, when we was playing, even against Cincinnati, we were shutting down Joe Mixon, and we was holding Nick Chubb in the first half in both of them. But they kept running the ball. What happened? It breaks loose. It breaks down defenses. That's all they need to do. So you guys have a blessed night, and I'll listen to your comments. Thanks, bro.
Absolutely, man. I will agree with that point as far as they got to run the football, man. Again, if you don't know anything else, know this. This offense, as it is constructed by Matt Canada, with all the boots, all the play action, move in the pocket, yada, 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 none of that works if we can't run the ball. And to me, it's as simple as that. And some people will say, oh, well, that's just it's simple for every team. No, it's not. When Kansas City was doing their thing, they didn't run the ball all the time. They was pass, 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 pass. Even when the Saints was the mighty powerful Saints, pass, 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 pass. Even New England, they would run when they needed to, and it worked because they pass, pass, pass. You know what I'm saying? So, look at the Rams. They're mighty pass happy. So that isn't the thing for all teams, but for the Steelers as constructed, they have to run the ball, man. We have to at least pose the threat, and then you get all of the boots to work, the play action to work. Look at the Ravens. That's why it works. Simple as that. All right, 4 more calls, man. Keep them quick. Thank you guys for the pace you've been on. Area code 334, what you got for us?
Look at here, man. Look at here, Sam. I'm going to make this quick because y'all are too hard on the coaches in Pittsburgh. You're too hard on the coordinator. You're too hard on the quarterback. You're too hard on the offensive line. But I can't say the offensive line getting better. Going in the second week, they're getting better. Maybe the next game, we're going to focus on running the ball. But I'm going to tell you one thing about Matt Canada. He's not going to show you all his goodies. If I got a quarterback just can't hit a semi-truck going down the highway at 35 miles an hour, why would I want to put in extra offensive excitement? Why? I mean, he can't even do that. So stop pointing the finger at Matt Canada. Stop pointing the finger at Tomlin. They know what they're doing. We should put our trust in them. But no, we can't do it. We can't do it because Tomlin created the atmosphere for this to happen. You know why? Because he's a coach-loving player. And that's all I got to say. I'm out.
Appreciate that call, 334. You confused me on your very last statement. You said he's a coach-loving player. I think you said it backwards. But hey, listen, man, I appreciate the call, appreciate your opinion there. It's so funny, man. Again, as I take calls and look at the chat each and every week, the opinions vary so much. That's why I said, man, I'm just creating a safe space for us all to get them out. I can comment on them, but I won't debate any of them. Because just look in the comments, I am seeing some of the wildest things and some of the wildest speculation. And at the end of the day, sometimes we might just have to acknowledge what, again, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I said this before the season started. The Steelers ain't great no more. We are rebuilding. We're trying to get back to what we used to be. We ain't that. We going through quarterback changes, offensive line changes, culture change. You might just have to face the facts, man. So while everybody was talking about, oh, man, we're going to win 12 games, 13, I say, okay. Now, if it happens, great. But I just don't know why us Steelers fans are just so stubborn in thinking that we're going to be excellent all the time. Next up, man, area code 240. What you got for us?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I got two quick things to put out there real quick. Number one, I'm like you, like I'm a real Steelers fan, so like I never came in this with any favorite of Pickett or Mitch, but after seeing Mitch and seeing him in Chicago, I just feel like he's not like a drop back read quarterback. And if that's the case, he can't really succeed in his offense. We have too many weapons. Like if you look at Hurts, he's just dropping back 7-5 throws, throwing it down the field to Devonta, AJ. They're making plays for him. We got too many playmakers for him not to at least give him a chance. And secondly, you've been a Steelers fan longer than I have, so I know you can attest to this. Why is it every time we are on third and short, we always go for the deep ball? We never, ever go for the deep ball on first down, second down, play action. But when it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, we're going to launch a deep ball to chase. That's all I got. Appreciate you.
Man, that point right there, I'm going to speak on that. Man, I used to, you know what, I owe Ben an apology. I know some of it was Ben, because if he saw the single high look, he saw one-on-one, he was going to take the shot. He trusted in his guys. And to some degree, that's what you want. But I thought it was mostly him. And it looks like Trubisky is doing the same thing. So it might be a scheme thing. It might be ingrained in them. Look, when you get this look, we taking a shot with our athletes. Okay, I like that attitude, but no. Sometimes you don't need to do that. Dump it off. Call a screen. Call a drag. Mesh concept, something quick. I don't get it either, man. And maybe it's coincidence, but it definitely seems like we do it way too often. It's crazy. I don't get it. Appreciate that call, man. Really, really appreciate that. Next up, 443. What you got for us?
Peace to the gods and goddesses. Really just want to talk about Mike T for a second. I think a lot of people don't understand his madness. I agree with one of the callers, though. He said something like he's a player coach. But I think he do need to do something about the player coach part. Like sometimes back with the Killer Bees, you could see he was a little too playful with, AB and LB. But now we don't have talent that's AB or LB level. Like LB is a phenomenal talent, AB phenomenal talent. I think our offense never been we never been an offensive team. We're supposed to be a defensive team, other than the AB and LB, right? But now, with the quarterback deficit, the offensive coordinator in question, like Mike T needs to step in a little more with his approach to things. And we don't know who doing what, but I feel like Mike T would be a little better if he, or the Steelers in a whole, would be a little better if Mike T had his influence on the offense. I feel like I can see it's not. But as far as the defense looking good. we just, lost T.J. Watt, and now we can't win a game. That's kind of telling. But we got DeMarvin. I don't really be seeing him out there like that. Like, I see him here and there. I don't know what's going on with that. DeMarvin should be starting now, for sure. We got, who else? Malik Reed, Mark Robinson. They look like they was going to do something preseason, and now chance for them to do something. They ain't do nothing. So, yeah, other than that, that's all I really got. Oh, yeah, Kenny and Mitch. I think Kenny will come in, and since he a rookie, we really don't know what he's going to do in those moments. Like, every second is a new moment. So, yeah, he might mess up once and then go off for the rest of the year. He might go off one game and mess up the rest of the year. But the fact is, we won't know if he's it. That's it.
Definitely appreciate the call, man. The one thing you said about Tomlin, I like how you finished it up when you said, maybe he should take over some of the offensive duties, but we don't know. I like the fact that you said that, because it's cool for us to assume, but the truth is we really don't know, man. We don't know if he has any influence on it. He always says he has a hand on everything, but and that's all I be trying to get at sometimes. Again, guys, it's not about me being right or wrong. I like to learn. I don't want to be the smartest man in the room ever, right? But I've learned to not just run wild with speculation, because I don't know. There's only certain things that we can prove. There's so many that we can't. So I give my opinion and that's it. But I don't say it and like I stamp it in stone. Like, no, because we don't know. We don't know. And as far as, Leal, since you mentioned him, Leal has played a little bit, but honestly, Ogunjobi is playing well. Even got a sack in that game. And that's kind of where Leal, would probably get a lot of attention. It would be more him and, playing in the nickel with Cam. And as long as Ogunjobi is in there, and Leal actually played in the Patriots game, and they had him rushing outside, trying to compensate for TJ. So he's been out there. Mark Robinson hasn't even really been active, so it's a non-story there. But all right, man, let's get to this very last call, man. And let's keep it short, guys, because time is up, and I don't plan to be on much longer. But we got area code 937, which I believe is our good buddy Johnny. What you got for us?
Sam, Steelers Nation, what's up, man?
What's going on? Yes, sir.
All right. Have you seen the schedule? I'm sure y'all have. Here we are. Jets, Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, and Eagles before the bye, right? Man, that's brutal. And I just want to warn you, Steelers Nation, if we don't turn something around, then we'll be looking at I'll give us 3-5 going into the bye, man. Look, I'm going to stick with the topic. I'm going to do what you would do, Sam. I got the Art Steelers show over here, and I called you over, man, and we conversated about things. I gave Mike, and Mike came in. I called him into the office. I can do that. Why? Because we're the same age, so we have a generational thing. There's no gap. And I was like, Mike, what's up, man? And he's like, well, I'm sticking to my guns and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, man, look, man, there's only one word I didn't like, and that's definitively. Definitely no. And I respect the brother, and I love him. He's in the top 10 of people I would want to meet to this day. Top 10, no lie. I love him that much. But you can't say definitely about too many things in life, because we don't know. We don't know. And that's the only problem I had. So, and here's another thing. My fear is, if Mitch continues to, stink it up a little bit or whatever, or not be productive, if these wide receivers and the rest of the offense, it can spread like a virus if they start losing confidence and not running their routes fully and giving up because they believe the ball is not getting to them or it's going to get to them. You feel me? That's a fear of mine, because it can spread like a virus. Then it spreads to the defense. And then, it's ugly. That can happen, man, psychologically, man. I think about the psychological of these young boys, man. And if my point is, okay, cool, I roll with my squad. If you're going to keep the man in there, then if it starts affecting everybody else, it's time to pull him, man. If the players, start screaming for Kenny, man, that's another story, bro. I'm just going to put it like that, man. That's all I got to say, man. Peace and love, y'all.
My man, Johnny, we always appreciate you calling. I think that's a very good take right there. I can actually take the headphones off now. I think that's a great take. Because again, like I said, we don't know. We don't know what's going on in the locker room. If that talk is there, if the team offensively are out on Mitch, then, I think any coach is not going to allow his whole team or locker room to get turned upside down. You know what I mean? And Mitch Trubisky understands what he was brought there for. He knows he's not the future. I'm pretty sure he knows what his role was when he came in. So, absolutely. 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 If the team is asking for Kenny, then, like I said, guys, I think you need to trust and believe that you're going to see Kenny at some point if the Steelers continue to struggle. Don't hang on too much to what Mike Tomlin said early on in the season. And again, like I said, it's speculation, but when I speculate, I try to use things that I've seen in the past or match things to what coaches are saying, players are saying, et cetera, et cetera. We kind of know how it works, right? And when Mike Tomlin said that, the idea, we heard, quote unquote, we heard from Jay Glazer that the idea is for him not to play this year. But you got to understand that means if the Steelers are in contention, if the Steelers are winning, you know what I mean? And let's see what Moses is saying. And see, again, guys, this is why I don't get into the back and forth because, you think Kenny's not the future either. So, at that, if you feel like that, here's the question I have for those who feel like that. What should the Steelers have done this year? Let's put that question out there, and I want you guys to answer that. What should the Steelers have done this year if you don't like Mitch Trubisky and you don't like Kenny Pickett? What should they have done at quarterback this past season? In the offseason leading into this season? Because if you don't like neither one of those guys, what was their other option? You just want to tank? But, yeah, man, again, I think Tomlin and Crew's idea is to not have to play Kenny Pickett. If it gets to a point where they have to play him, I think they're going to play him. I don't know that to be true. I'm just saying I think that's what's going to happen. Diane says, why did they not use Mason as the bridge gap? That I can't answer. Oh, see, and it's funny. Now, that's another person saying Mason. It's funny because y'all remember how many people in this very chat hates the idea of Rudolph playing? And again, the reason why I'm asking these questions, folks, is just to show you how everyone has a different opinion. That's why I do this. Malik Willis. Okay, somebody's saying Willis. All right. Okay. Somebody else just said Mason's a do y'all see what I'm saying? This is why I do this. I do this to see all of the various opinions just to show you guys how none of us can stand on the fact that we're right. You can't. It's just an opinion. So, again, behave how y'all want to behave. What you're never going to hear me do, unless I know for a fact, is talk with sheer confidence about these Steelers. As if I know everything that goes on. As if I know all the answers roster-wise and all of the free agents we should have gotten and all of the guys we should cut and all of the guys we should start. Somebody here in the chat said they saw on Facebook, somebody said the Steelers messed up when they let Buddy Johnson go. So you're just not going to ever get that from me. I will give you my thoughts because y'all tuned in to hear my thoughts. But I just don't speak in, like, sometimes people act as if you could predict the future. We don't know if any of this would have worked out differently. We don't know if Malik Willis would have panned out differently. And the funny thing is, I tell y'all this, Malik Willis would be sitting on the bench too, as Trubisky is starting. That's one thing I feel confident in saying. I think the idea is for the veteran to play first. So the only difference would be is when would Malik play, when would Kenny play. But, you know, again, trust me when I say this. I love you guys. I'm not here to tell y'all how to think or act. It's just funny. Again, I do these things purposely so you guys can see how different your opinions are. Really quick before I wrap up, man. Listen, I know people are going to be down on the run defense. I think the Steelers' run defense was decent in the first two games. We just played the Cleveland Browns, who has a potent rushing attack and a solid offensive line. I think quite often we don't give enough credit to the opponent. However, there were some moments, man, where we did contain Nick Chubb. You know, on the very first, that big play, the big run that he had, that was like 31 yards or whatever, missed tackle by Keller Witherspoon. Keller Witherspoon is right there. Now, is he known as a tackler? No. But it just goes to show you sometimes his execution. If you go back and watch that play, he goes in, goes low. If he makes that tackle or at least slows down Nick Chubb, it's not a 31-yard gain. And there were quite a few plays, run plays in that game where we stuffed the run. But we gave up. Definitely in the third quarter, you know, 3 and outs doesn't help. Defense was gassed. You know, I would say I don't think the run defense is as bad as it looked how it panned out later on in that game. There were moments when we stood tall against the run, and there were missed tackles that made the run game even more potent. But again, you got to give credit. It's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has done this to a lot of folk. So sometimes you got to give credit to your opponent and also look at what you didn't do. I wouldn't be so down on the run defense just yet. Let's see if that continues. Also, Keller Witherspoon had a bad game, man. Keller was not great. Was not great in coverage. Terrell Edmonds was not great in coverage. There was a couple times they had Terrell Edmonds in man. I do not think that's his strong suit. That, you know, is play call? Is it the way the personnel was, you know, lined up that forced him in that situation? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get your strong safety on a bad matchup. Your coverage safety on a bad matchup. It happens sometimes. So, you know, I wouldn't be so down on the defense just yet. You know, again, the Steelers defense has played pretty solid this season. First half of this game, they held them to 13. You know, and, you know, you gave up some explosive runs. And like I said, you got some bad matchups, man, like the touchdown to Cooper. You got Terrell Edmonds on him. And I swear, every time Edmonds plays, man, he's always in a backup, a back trail type of technique. He's always giving the inside. So if I'm an offensive coordinator or a quarterback, I see Terrell Edmonds land up in man, I'm automatically throwing a slant or a skinny post because he's going to give you the inside. So it's stuff like that, you know. Again, before you say the defense is bad as a whole, you got to go look at what happened on individual plays. Like I said, biggest run of the night by Nick Chubb. Keller Witherspoon had an opportunity to make the tackle at the line of scrimmage pretty much, 2 or 3 yards above the line of scrimmage. Chubb was able to step through it, and he rumbles for 31 yards and cuts back inside on Minka. Minka misses. So it wasn't as bad as you think. But, you know, we'll see. And, you know, what I always encourage, what you look for is if these things persist and continue, you know, that's what you look for. Are these things persistent problems and they continue? Are they not fixed? That's what you want to look for. But, hey, we got the Jets coming up, man. Jets seem to be playing inspired football. I watched them, this past week. I was able to see a good amount of that game. I don't think that they're unbeatable. Joe Flacco, early observation, he's turned into check down man. Some people might say he's always been there. I don't know. He, in that game that I saw Sunday, he's dumping it down. He's dumping it down quite often. Nothing about what I saw from them scares me. Sauce Gardner is going to be a good one. He played pretty solid. He's going to be a good one. But again, I think this is a winnable game for the Steelers. That's all I'm going to say. It's a winnable game. Will they win? It's going to come down to a couple of factors. Can the offense stay on the field? Even when they're not scoring, can they sustain drives? Because sustaining drives is going to help the the defense. Can they sustain drives? Can they score touchdowns? Can they run the football? Just that simple. Can we contain? I'm not even going to say contain the run because I don't feel like the Jets showed a strong running game. But if the defense can be as stout as they were in the first couple games, first half of this last game on Thursday, I'm not so concerned about the defense at the moment. I'm more so concerned with, can our offense score touchdowns versus field goals? Can they have sustained drives even when they just happen to not score? Can you give the defense a break? Can you limit your 3 and outs? Can you run the football? And can our defense get off the field on third down? Third down perked up a little bit in this last game. And, the conversion percentage was a little higher than I like. We hadn't been that bad in the last couple games, but didn't like what I saw against Cleveland there as far as the third down conversion. So little things like that, man. Again, I don't think this team is horrible. I just think you're looking at a team that is literally trying to rebuild with a struggling offense in terms of producing points and sustaining drives. That's what you're seeing in real time. And that's just what it is. Okay? Accept the fact that your beloved Steelers this is a new era. This is not what we're accustomed to. There could be struggle moments. There could be struggle games. Hey, there might even be struggle seasons. And I know everyone keeps saying, is Tomlin's going to have his first? So what? So what? So what? Maybe this is the year. That's possible. Here we go. I was waiting for some troll stuff. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I will spend a few minutes with y'all. What y'all got? Give me a couple comments. Give me a few comments to read. What y'all got? Real quick. Give me a few comments real quick. Man, y'all see me scratch my head in real time. Steelomatic says, Mitch can't go out there and be checked down Charlie again, though. I agree. Moses Da Silva says Cordell and the Wildcat. I don't know what you're referring to there. Kenya says Cowher also lost 5 AFC championship games when they had home field advantage. Okay, I think some people are debating coaches. Dr. Trey 88 says Flacco isn't starting. Well, I don't think we know that yet. Was Wilson healthy? Do we know he's healthy, or are we assuming? I don't know if that news has come out yet. But yeah, and if it's Zach Wilson, we'll see what he has to bring to the table. Like Tomlin said, we haven't faced him, so that'll be an interesting challenge. TJ says the Steelers are giving Kenny the Mahomes or Lamar Jackson treatment by sitting him the majority of the season or the whole season. TJ, can I give you a round of applause, sir? You know why I'm giving TJ a round of applause? It might be exactly that. See what I'm saying, folks? No different than 2 teams that are winning right now. Well, have had success. Well, Ravens haven't really had a lot of success in terms of playoff run or Super Bowl in the last, since Lamar Jackson. But Yeah. Kansas City did it. And again, am I saying Kenny Pickett is Kenny Mahomes? Am I saying Kenny Pickett is Patrick Mahomes? Am I saying Kenny Pickett is Lamar Jackson? I am not. I'm just simply trying to show you, just like TJ did, that other organizations do exactly what we're doing right now. Again, I think we just have blinders on, man, when it comes to our Steelers. Like, we just lose all possibilities and we blame everybody, and we don't. Most of you guys don't look at the full picture of everything. It's always it's always a blame game after every game, every free agency. It's always, why didn't it? Like, come on, man, have some trust in your organization, man, if you love them so much. TJ says, man, if the Steelers take a L from the Jets, Steeler Nation will raise hell. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, man. Steeler Nation, man. We go off every week. I'm sure they will. Remember when we lost to the Jets in the Mike Vick Jets? Y'all remember that? I'm telling you, a lot of Steeler Nation won't accept the fact that the Steelers could very well just not be a good team this year. On the same flip side, they this far away from being a decent team. The Steelers are really this close from being 2-1. That close. They could have won that game Thursday. To me, that was a winnable game. I would say they're this close from being 3-0. Patriots did a couple more things, but might have been harder to win that game. But you see what I'm saying? It's not like they have gotten their butts whipped. This close from being 2-1. And you look around the league, a lot of teams are not blowing doors. I mean, look at the teams that are, the Dolphins are 3-0. Look at the Eagles, both of which we have to play. So this is another reason why I'm saying get prepared. Get prepared. We said it, man. I've said it in the beginning of the season. This is a tough schedule. What else y'all got? Give me a couple more. Rail Fact says, it's good Tomlin has a plan. Most coaches would fold. Most losing organizations do. That's true. Smitty says, was good live from Paris. I've been away from Steelers football. From what I've seen is they've improved a little bit, but I'm concerned with the defensive strength. Yeah, I think the defense would be okay, man, if they could just manage a little bit, until TJ Watt gets back. Man, Smitty, I think you said you were last week you said you were somewhere else. I forgot where, but you traveling for work? No, I don't mean to be in all your business or whatever, but it seems like you're on the move, man, overseas. So, shout outs to you. What else? Look, and as soon as I say they're close to being 2-1, somebody else says they're super close from being 0-3. You see what I'm saying? What do y'all want from this team? What are y'all's expectations, man? Again, do y'all think that the Steelers are just going to be great every year? I appreciate y'all, though, man. But I'm telling you, you cannot make Steeler Nation happy. Round of applause to What the Head. I'm not going to say the full name. It's still elite. Round of applause for the donation. Wow. He says, Mitch looking like a white Cordell in that number 10. All right. I don't know. Cordell was a little more athletic, I would like to say. I don't know. I get the comparison. Still, Elise says, I think it's frustrating because we see other teams dropping 30, 40 points a game and wish that was us. That's fair. That's fair. Kenyon said, calm down. That's fair, guys. I'm just saying, man. Sometimes you got to have realistic expectations. Like, honestly, I find it hard to believe that any of y'all thought that this team, remember when most, I would say 85% of y'all in this chat was saying after preseason, this offensive line is horrible. We ain't going to da-da-da. We ain't going to do that. But then now you got some people who think we supposed to be scoring 30, 40. Ain't no way y'all came into this season thinking that. with a new quarterback, new offensive line for the most part. There's no way nobody expected this was going to be a high-powered offense. We all said there's potential there, but to think that that was going to be the case right out the gate, especially after seeing how the offensive line played in preseason, realistic expectations, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Seconds.
Oh, what Smitty say? Yeah, let me go ahead and cut Blog Talk off. I'm about to shut it down. I think Smitty said he's on vacation. Okay, player. I love it. What'd he say? Smitty says, I just took 2 weeks off from vacation and I'm just traveling through Europe. I'm in Paris for a couple of days and back to Brussels. Then I go back to Amsterdam. That's where you were, Amsterdam. Then Sunday, I'll be watching the game in Philly. Man, that's what's up, man. Listen, travel, guys. When you can do it, yeah. When you can do it, do it. And round of applause to Smitty for the donation. Yeah, and you just said as much in your comment. I think you meant to say I was. I was in Amsterdam, and now I'm in Paris, but I'll be watching the game in Philly coming back from vacation. That's dope, man. That is dope. That is dope. I appreciate that. Well, since you're sharing that information, I will share this information with you guys. You guys know the journey. I've told most of you guys about it. My wife and I found a home. Offer was accepted. This is a real funny story. Really quick, and y'all are going to laugh at this. So we got the house accepted, offer accepted, blah, 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 blah. We go and we do the inspection. As we're doing the inspection, the family comes home. Kind of weird, but whatever. You know, they tried to stay out as long as they could, but I think they had a kid coming home from school, whatever. So we talk with the lady that was there for a little bit, and then the guy comes home, you know, the husband or what have you. Here's a crazy situation. As we talk to him for a second, he tells us that he's looking at our home. I was like, what? Huh? Okay. Thought that was weird, right? Put our house up for sale. We got a total of 5 offers. We have accepted an offer. But here's the funny part. It is the guy that we're buying his house from. Is that crazy or not? So the person that we're buying a house from is buying our home. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's downsizing. We're sizing up. Whatever. So that's where we are, guys. I have a closing date coming up on October 24th. So, you know, just sitting by, preparing for all that, already thinking, trying to get my mind in motion, how we're going to move and what I'm going to do with the fish tank and all that. So much going on. But yeah, that is a crazy situation. But I thought I would bring you guys up to speed on that because a lot of you guys knew we were looking. I told you guys we had an accepted offer. So now we have also accepted an offer and, you know, got a really good return on our home. So there you are. So that's what's going on in my world. But yeah, that's it. Have nothing else for tonight other than this. Make sure you hit that like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content, as well as push that notification so you know when videos are up and running. We got another donation. Round of applause. He says, also tell Kenyon, Colombia is dope. Don't get us started on Colombia. He'll enjoy it. I was there for Carnival before the pandemic. Wow. We're going to leave that right there. No comment from me. Wowzers. Yeah. What Debbie say? This is the weirdest home story ever. Hope neither of you holds the other. Now that you both know. Yeah, it's Debbie. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's all I can say. It is crazy. And if I had it my way, I wouldn't do that. But it is what it is. You know, you came with the best offer. Put a little change in my pocket. He's going to get change in his. And like I said, We're the Jeffersons. We're moving on up to bigger and better things. And, he said, coincidentally, he's downsizing. So it works for everybody. But all right, man. Love you guys, man. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week. Watch some football on Thursday to get the itch, and then we'll watch our guys play on Sunday. Hopefully it's a win. Maybe, just maybe, I can get to a pregame show this week. Y'all know a lot of times it's difficult for me to do it, so that's why I try not to commit to it. But if I do, you shall see it. But other than that, you will definitely see me, well, God willing, right? You'll see me post-game show following the Steelers and the Jets. All right, stay safe. God bless. Good night. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.